a very important concept titled as compound financial instruments. Now the moment this heading appears in front of me, that is compound financial instrument, I find a need to take you back to lecture 1 and talk about the basic definition of financial instrument. If you can understand what is financial instrument, then only you can understand what would be a compound financial instrument. So the definition of financial instrument in just one line: any contract that creates financial asset for one entity and financial liability or equity instrument for the other entity. Correct? So we have taken examples. X Limited issuing debentures to Y Limited. For X Limited, those debentures are recognized as financial liability. For Y Limited, that is holding these debentures, for Y Limited, those debentures will be considered as financial assets. However, if X Limited is issuing equity shares to Y Limited, for Y Limited it will still be a financial asset, but for the issuing entity X Limited, it will be classified as equity instrument. So it is always from the perspective of issuing entity that you have to identify what you have issued. Is it a financial liability or is it an equity instrument? In the previous class, we have also taken cases where there was a settlement which was to be made by issuing own equity instrument. That means there is an amount payable and the amount payable has to be finally settled by giving away equities of the entity. That means entity's own equity instruments or own equity shares have to be issued for settlement of certain contract. In such cases, try to recall, we have seen situations where we classify that unsettled amount until settled as either a financial liability or as an equity instrument, depending upon all those situations that we have learnt. But friends, the question is, what is compound financial instrument? This is the instrument which will have characteristic of both, that is financial liability as well as equity instrument. So think, when a company is issuing debentures, it is recognizing a financial liability. When a company is issuing equity shares, it is recognizing an equity instrument. Imagine a company issuing convertible debentures. That means today it is basically a financial liability, but gradually over the maturity it will convert into equity instruments. That means that instrument practically has characteristic of both, that is debt as well as equity. In other words, it has characteristic of financial liability as well as the characteristic of equity instruments. Such instruments will be identified as compound financial instruments. Now friends, I just gave you that convertible debenture as an example, but friends, there can be many different situations where you will find existence of a compound financial instrument. Let me elaborate this by way of giving an extensive example. Consider a situation that there is a company X Limited which needs loan. So X Limited requires a loan of rupees 10 lakhs. X Limited is a fully owned subsidiary of a bigger company, Z Limited. So Z Limited has agreed to provide loan to its subsidiary. Because it is fully owned subsidiary, use your common sense, whatever parent company provides to subsidiary as financial assistance, as different entities exist, Z Limited, the parent company, can definitely charge interest, but that being a fully owned subsidiary, it is as good as charging interest to your own self. So what will happen? Z Limited provides to X Limited interest free loan. That means the loan provided is interest free. Now X Limited, the subsidiary company, it borrowed rupees 10 lakhs. After 3 years, it has to repay also exactly same amount, rupees 10 lakhs, because this is an interest free loan. So the question of interest expense does not arise, but Ind AS 32 will not allow this. Ind AS 32 requires application of effective interest rate. That means you cannot avoid recognition of financing component when there is a loan taken. When there is a loan taken, it is arrangement of finance and there has to be financial expenses recognized, because don't forget, these two companies are still separate entities. In such situations, what will happen? The standard requires the borrower, that is X Limited, to identify the present value of the amount payable. Because there is no interest payable, there is a single amount payable as repayment of loan of rupees 10 lakhs after 3 years. Obviously, the present value will not be 10 lakhs, correct? Using reference rate which is prevailing in the market as effective interest rate. That means, if X Limited would have borrowed from any bank or financial institution or from any money lender this amount of loan, what would be the interest cost that it would have considered? That means it is basically an incremental borrowing rate for this company X Limited. In such case, whatever rate you are identifying from the market as reference rate, we will consider that as effective interest rate, and the present value of the repayment amount of rupees 10 lakh will be determined using that rate. That present value will be obviously lesser than the amount actually borrowed, correct? Because amount borrowed is 10 lakhs and the present value will be much less. So, Ind AS 32 requires the initial measurement for that financial liability should be only the present value of the future payment. So, future payment present value, suppose it comes to 7,50,000. So, 10 lakh is the future payment and 10 lakh is the net proceeds on loan. I remind you once again, we are talking about interest free loan. So, amount borrowed 10 lakhs, that indicates net proceeds. Amount repayable after 3 years is again 10 lakhs, that is the maturity amount payable. Both are 10 lakhs, but your liability, that is the liability for X Limited, is simply the present value of the amount payable on maturity. That means present value of 10 lakhs. Suppose that comes to 7,50,000. So, what does Ind AS 32 want you to do? It says total proceeds on issue, net of all expenses, or you may simply call it net proceeds, it is 10 lakhs. You should split that net proceeds into two components. So, one of the component will be a liability component and another component will be an equity component. So, what will be liability component and what will be equity component? From the total proceeds, you first identify the liability component. Liability component will be the present value of the repayment amount. In my example, 10 lakh is the repayment amount. Present value, when we work out, it comes to 7,50,000. So, out of 10 lakh, it is 7,50,000 which is the liability component, which indicates financial liability. The balance amount is such an amount which will never create any liability. That amount will be identified as equity component. So, the net proceeds of 10 lakhs split into two parts. It is liability component of 7,50,000 and equity component of 2,50,000. Now friends, that is what we call as compound financial instrument, where the instrument has characteristics of both debt and equity, or both characteristics, that is liability component and equity component. So friends, what we will do is we will take up an example which will clarify this whole matter, and I'll try to take a similar situation in that example what we have just discussed. So let us take up questions ahead. Let us take up question number 7 and let us read this question. On 1/4/2016, X Limited obtained interest-free loan from its parent company Z Limited. Amount of loan rupees 10 lakhs, tenure of loan 3 years. Effective interest rate prevailing in market is at 10% per annum. Using effective interest rate, explain the accounting treatment for such loan as per Ind AS 32. So friends, this is exactly same example that we have just discussed, but let us look into the minute calculations involved over here, and let us also see how to present the solution. In your solution, you are first going to mention that the present value of loan at effective interest rate of 10% per annum will be rupees 10 lakhs divided by that factor, that is divided by 1.1 raised to 3, or you may also directly multiply the PV factor to 10 lakhs to arrive at the present value. You know how you have to do that, up to you. Now this is important. As per Ind AS 32, the liability component of interest free loan shall be measured at its present value, and the remaining part of the net proceeds shall be recognized as equity component of such loan as mentioned below. So what you are going to do is, you are going to start with the net proceeds of loan, that is rupees 10 lakhs, and from that you are going to subtract the liability component, which is the present value of the amount payable, and finally what you get is the equity component of loan. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this whole thing. Let us move ahead and write up the accounting entry on 1/4/2016, that is on the initial recognition. So the proceeds in hand will be rupees 10 lakhs, and we are going to record this in the name of loan from Z Limited. However, this item loan from Z Limited will be split into two separate components. One will be the liability component as measured in the name of liability, and the balance will be the equity component as measured earlier. Now one important thing, this equity component what we have recognized at the initial date will remain as it is unless the loan is either prepaid or finally repaid. I repeat, when either the loan is settled or it is squared off before the maturity, this amount will not be touched at all. So what happens, as and when the interest is accrued, mind it, the loan is free from interest, the lending entity has not charged any interest on the amount of loan. However, as per the requirement of Ind AS 32, interest cost will still be recognized, and whenever you are recognizing that interest cost, no payments are being made. So the liability in the name of loan from Z Limited, which is liability component, only this liability component goes on increasing. So it is this amount that will go on increasing till maturity, and this amount will remain as it is. So let us do one thing, let us make up a table for the interest and outstanding balances calculations, and I don't have to explain you this, we have been doing something like this already past 2-3 questions. So quickly take note of what you find on screen, and then we are going to move ahead. Alright friends, you would have finished writing these calculations. Let us move ahead and now record the accounting entry by end of the first year. When you record the interest amount as expense for the first year, the corresponding effect increases your liability towards Z Limited in the name of loan from Z Limited liability component, because an expense has been recognized but a payment has not been made, and then this expense towards interest will be charged off to P&L. And what you are going to do, as on 31/3/2018 and 31/3/2019, you are going to pass exactly same entries, and those entries will be just passed with the different amount, and the amount will be the interest cost of second and third year respectively. So same set of entries you are also going to pass on 31/3/2018 and 31/3/2019. However, once you recognize the interest cost on 31/3/2019, the loan will be matured and it will be due for repayment. So what we are showing now is on maturity, after recognizing the interest cost, you are going to pay off that loan, correct? So loan from Z Limited liability component will be debited and the corresponding credit will be given to bank. Now with this entry, the liability part has been settled, but don't forget, at the time of initial recognition, you have recorded something in the name of equity component also. Once the loan has been repaid, that component will be transferred to another component of equity, which would generally represent some free kind of reserves. So what we have done is, we have simply written to reserves account 2,48,685. So friends, write up this whole thing and that will be end of the solution.